Hello everyone, Abz here from the Abz Method. So, what if I could say to you 4 weeks ago, if you followed 5 simple steps, you could lose £5 in body fat. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you. 5 steps which I live by to go through to help you lose five pounds of body fat. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Right, let's get straight into it. So, how to lose £5 of body fat, which we can take on board to do in a few weeks. So, part one then, maintaining a calorie deficit. So track your intake using apps like MyFitnessPal to log food and monitor your daily calories. I've used this app whenever I've need to get back on track of things, and I think it's a great tool. So here we go.
So you want to get started tracking your food in MyFitnessPal. I've got you covered in this video. I've been meaning to put together a quick and simple tutorial video on how to use the app most effectively to send my new clients to make sure they're seeing the best results. So here we go. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the app, how to track your calories or macros, how I log various foods in the app, and I'll cover the free versus premium version. And just to be clear, I'm not sponsored by MyFitnessPal. They're not paying me any money to make this video. MyFitnessPal is owned by Under Armour and they make millions and millions and millions of dollars. They don't need me to promote them. So how to set up the app for your goals. Let's get into it. It's important to realize that MyFitnessPal is a great tool for tracking your food, but they literally suck at prescribing each individual the right amount of calories and the right amount of proteins, carbs, and fats for your goals. The app is not a personal trainer or a nutritionist or a fitness professional, and you should get your target calories or macros from your coach.
And on that note, I couldn't agree anymore. So for those of you who are using a fitness coach, that's exactly it. They would prescribe you your macros and your daily calorie intake. So if you're looking to gain size, they will tell you how much to have, and if you're looking to lose body fat, they'll tell you exactly what you need to be having there. Okay, so let's move on to part two. So the importance of whole foods. Prioritize nutrient dense foods, eat more vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats to stay full on fewer calories. So if you have a high protein breakfast, you're not going to start snacking sort of mid-morning and going for those high sugary things. If you have a bowl of cereal, guess what? 2 hours later, you're going to be going back in the cupboard for more. So let's see what Mark Wahlberg's got to say.
After the workout, about 45 minutes after the workout this morning, I had 5 eggs. I had 2 hard-boiled eggs and 3 scrambled eggs. I had a pork chop with just a little bit of salt and pepper on it. I had wild smoked salmon, some Greek yogurt, and berries. And then I had green juice with moringa. That was at 8 o'clock in the morning. At 11 o'clock, I had chicken breast, chicken thigh, sweet potato, broccoli, a bowl of fruit, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, strawberry, and then I had a handful of pistachios and I had a handful of almonds. And then I just had, at 2 o'clock, I had salmon sashimi, crab salad with a little cucumber, and a couple pieces of chicken breast. And tonight I'll have a nice steak, some sea bass or halibut, something, and a vegetable. I just try to eat as clean as possible. I've had the worst eating habits.
Okay, so from the main Hollywood actor himself, yeah, you can see the way he's eating like an absolute boss. All the top foods from steak, salmon, lean chicken, eggs, Greek yogurt, all the berries. His diet is full of whole foods. Obviously, I know this is different for everyone with their budget of what they can spend on food, but you can still eat well at a cheaper price. It's just being selective of the right things. What I would always say is, start your morning with eggs, mid-morning, sort of protein shake based, and then your lunch, have a piece of protein, and then your complex carbohydrates with, a bit of healthy fat like avocado, and add some greens in there. And then repeat it the same again for dinner. Depending how you train as well, maybe mid-afternoon, you might need like a mid-afternoon snack, and then late again in the evening, go-to favorite is always some Greek yogurt, some berries, handful of nuts, maybe add some chia seed, and then you can add some like raw honey for a bit of sweetness. So, an old thing which someone told me was that when you're in a supermarket, you stay to the outside of the aisle yeah, that's where all the fresh food is. So you're not going to go far wrong. If you start going down some of the aisles where it's all like packeted in tins, guess what? It's not fresh. So give that thought. So we'll move on to part number 3. So you have to be hydrated to burn body fat. And this is the absolute truth. Stay hydrated. Sometimes thirst is mistaken for hunger. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. So what we used to say in the military, for my time spent in the army, was hydrate or die. And I'm a firm believer of that. So in the morning, when you come downstairs, like whatever time it is, some people, first thing they do is switch the kettle on, making a cup of tea or having a cup of coffee. By all means, I'm not saying stop to do that, but maybe don't have that as the first thing in your body. Maybe give yourself like an hour to have that when you're actually awake for the caffeine to kick in. But with the water itself, what a lot of people do now, and science has proved it, is to have some electrolytes first thing in the morning with your water. So, you put in the salts your body needs in, it's going to help with your focus and set you up to be hydrated for the rest of the day. So, let's see what the guy's got to say.
And that is water. Don't believe me? Well, let's think about this for a second. How long can you live without protein, fats, or carbs? It's commonly thought that we can live for over 2 months without any food at all, but only 3 days without water. About 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. This affects their performance in their gym and the ability to tell whether or not they are hungry. Now, to illustrate.
So, as we all know, if we're dehydrated, yeah, we can get those headaches, and get a bit grouchy. We can cramp up. Okay, so all I would say is, look to have a glass every hour. Stick to that sort of minimum 2 liters, but on a training day, obviously increase it. And obviously, a simple way to test is, when you go to the toilet, the color of your pee. Is it a dark color, mediocre color, or if it's light? If lighter, the better. If it's clear, you're hydrated. So don't underestimate the importance of water and being hydrated if you want to burn body fat. Okay, point 4. Point 4 then, yeah, is physical training. So as we know, if we want to burn body fat, yes, we can make a conscientious change from improving our sleep, being hydrated and eating better. And that is 3 parts of the puzzle in order to achieve this. But to really unlock it, to add on top, you've got to increase your physical training. So this could be from your daily steps or your gym sessions. Ideally, I'm always going to be biased. Yes, you need to be doing some form of resistance training, because obviously if we pack in lean muscle on, fat's going to get rid of the body fat and it's going to give you a stronger physique and support your structure.
Walking 8 to 10,000 steps per day. You can scale that up to 15,000 steps per day if you want to, if you have the time. And then you're combining that with a moderate calorie deficit created through the diet. You're focused on eating healthy foods that keep you full. You're getting 1 gram of protein per pound of your target body weight. You're eating your fruits, your vegetables, you're drinking plenty of water. You're not doing anything extreme. Compare that to the group that's starving themselves because they refuse to increase their activity levels, and then they're getting frustrated when they fall off track, or the group that's overdoing the cardio and burning out or getting injured or gaining a bunch of weight when for some reason they have to stop doing the cardio. All what I'm suggesting is take a more balanced approach. Be more moderate with it. This allows for a low risk way to stay consistent. It's much more sustainable, so you're not only going to get to your goal, but you will also be able to keep it long term. Now, the 5th mistake a lot of people make is they overestimate how good their diet actually is. In a recent study, they asked 9,700 adults to assess their own.
Okay, we'll stop him there. He's starting to waffle a little bit. So, just even the importance of just increasing your normal physical activity by getting your 8 to 10,000 steps by day and eating better, like I elaborated on before, you'll see a difference for sure. So, and then he mentioned about the quality of your food from whole food, which we've touched on, and your hydration. So all these factors now are starting to take place for what we need to achieve our goal. So let's move on to the 5th and final point. Okay, so part 5 then is a simple calorie equation, which can help you obviously to work out how many calories which you need to be in a deficit.
Calculation that for most people is going to put them into a calorie deficit and is a good starting point for us to then refine. All you do is you take your body weight in pounds and you multiply that by anywhere from 10 to 13.
So I'm going to pause you there, and if you need to, go back on the video. And I want you to do that equation. So put your body weight in pounds and then times it by 10 to 13.
If you're a younger, leaner, and or more active individual, then go with the higher end of this range. If you're an older, less lean, and or less active individual, then go with the lower end of this range. This will then give you a good estimate of the number of calories that you should start eating that per day in order to lose weight. The next step is to determine what an appropriate rate of weight loss would be based on your specific body. This is important for us to get right because if we eat too few calories and lose weight too quickly, not only is this unsustainable for most of us in the long run, but it also puts us at a greater risk for muscle loss. And we want to avoid that.
Real good point, which you mentioned at the end. So we don't want muscle loss because we don't want to go catabolic. So that's why think of your body as a Ferrari. You are not going to put bad fuel inside a Ferrari. So the same principles applies. So I hope you worked out the calorie equation using your TDE, energy expenditure. If you're unsure how to do this, you can have a look online or watch back through the video. Or if you're on board with a coach, ask them. Okay, so that's for 5 points, which we've touched on there. So we're just going to have a quick summary. So part 1, deficit, which is very important obviously for burning fat. And that's what we looked into with using MyFitnessPal. I totally recommend it. Even the basic version is absolutely fine. But if you feel you need to upgrade, then by all means do so. You could put your data in there and you could track daily. Part 2 then was the importance of whole food. So remember, outside of a supermarket, stick to lean meats and obviously fresh vegetables, natural produce. Obviously, if you're a vegetarian or vegan, stick to the foods which work for you. Same if you're pescatarian or if you have any dietary sort of specific needs, so to speak. Couldn't get that word out then. Okay, part 3 was the importance and hydration of water. Remember, hydrate or die. And point 4 was the importance of physical activity. So if you're not very active, get more active. So it could be, if you commute to work, get off the next train stop and walk, take the bus and walk a little bit, maybe cycle, anything like that which creates normal bodily daily movement is going to be beneficial to you. And 5th and final part was just a simple calorie equation. If you haven't done so, go back in the video, calculate it, and that'll give you a good rough guide what you can work with. So on that note then, people, hope you've enjoyed. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want some more information, give me a follow in at the Abz Method on my Instagram account. I'll put bits on there. If you have any questions, please write in the description or drop me a DM on Instagram. Thanks. See you on the next one.